Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for inviting me to chair this session, which will contain 4 presentations. And I'm going to start with a study we conducted in my team. Yes. No. Okay. No. This one, yes. Sorry. About sequence-based GWAS meta-analysis for beef production threats. And this study was conducted in the Work Package 4, and in particular in the first task of the Work Package 4, which is dedicated to GWAS and meta-analysis from whole genome sequences for biological efficiency, disease resistance, and fertility threats. In this task, all the partners that are involved performed within-breed GWAS with their populations, and for 4 different groups of threats, and 4 partners were in charge of the meta-analysis, each for a group of threats. So first for mastitis resistance in Aarhus in Denmark, for milk yield and fertility in Switzerland, and for feed efficiency in Wageningen. And in this session, Gautam will present the results for mastitis resistance, and Birgit for feed efficiency. And in France, at INRAE, we were in charge of the beef threats meta-analysis, and I will present the results now. So all the partners applied the similar imputations and GWAS workflows before the meta-analysis. First, by doing the imputations in 2 steps. First, from the 50K to the Hg density, and then from the Hg density to the whole genome sequences. And at the end, we had tens of millions of variants that were imputed. And with these variants, GWAS were performed by each partner with the GCTA software. And then each partner that was responsible for the meta-analysis performed the meta-analysis. So for beef threats, we had a large number of various populations, as you can see here. In France, we had 8 purebred populations. We had also 4 populations from Swiss breeds, 2 crossbred populations from Germany, and 1 composite line from Canada. We had also a large number and a large diversity of threats. We had 6 different growth threats, 6 morphology threats, and 21 threats that were related to carcass. So the first work consisted in grouping these threats in different meta-analyses, and we performed 16 different meta-analyses, 3 for growth threats, 5 for morphology threats, and 8 for carcass threats. And in each meta-analysis, we had from 1 to 5 threats, 3 to 10 populations. The meta-analysis involved 2 to 5 different partners, and from 2,600 to 25,000 animals. For beef threats, we applied two different methods, the Z-score method and the fixed effects method that are both implemented in the METAL software. And I will present mainly the results we obtained for the fixed effects method, as we obtained very similar results between both methods. We found a QTL in 15 of the 16 meta-analyses. And for each meta-analysis, we had results in 1 to 5 within population GWAS. We had 2 QTL that were detected in within population GWAS and not in meta-analysis. And in contrast, we had 9 QTL that were detected in meta-analysis and not in GWAS. Except in 2 of the meta-analysis, the number of QTL we detected in meta-analysis was higher than the number of QTL detected in each corresponding GWAS. And what is interesting also is that on average, the size of the confidence intervals of the QTL we detected was lower with meta-analysis than within population GWAS. For example, with the Z-score method, we had on average 77 variants in about 600 kilobases, while within population GWAS, we had on average more than 200 variants in almost 2 megabases. For the growth meta-analysis, we identified several QTL, but the QTL with the most significant effects is located on the chromosome 6 at about 37 megabases. We found this QTL for all the growth meta-analysis, and for each meta-analysis, the variant with the most significant effect is the same. It is an intron in the L-core-L gene, and L-core-L encodes a transcription factor that regulates the expression of other genes, and it was previously found associated with beef traits. And for growth traits, we also identified the over QTL, but with lower significant effects. For morphology meta-analysis, we mainly found 3 QTL with very significant effects. The first one is located on chromosome 2 in the region of MSTN gene, which encodes myostatin, with known mutations that are responsible for muscular hypertrophy. We also found the QTL on BTA6 in the region of L-core-L. And also we found another QTL with important significant effects on chromosome 15. In total, for carcass traits, we found 37 different QTL. And again, the QTL with the most significant effects were located on chromosome 2 and 6. And we also find other QTL on different chromosomes, as you can see here. We then performed the QTL enrichment analysis to compare the QTL we detected with the QTL that are referenced in the cattle QTL databases. And on the top, you can see the results we obtained in within population GWAS. So we found that 58% of the QTL detected in GWAS were QTL that are related to production, meat and carcass traits in cattle QTL databases. And this percentage was higher in meta-analysis. We found 65% with the fixed effects method and 72% with the Z-score method. So we found an enrichment of QTL that are related to the traits we analyzed that was more pronounced in meta-analysis than in GWAS. We also looked at the overlap between the QTL we detected and the cis, E, or S QTL referenced in the cattle GTEx. And we found a limited number of variants that overlap. But what is interesting is that the tissues in which this E or S QTL have an effect are tissues that are related with the traits we analyzed. And you can see, for example, a muscle tissue for EQTL or adipose tissue for SQTL. I give you two examples of interesting results we had. In the first one, you can see a QTL that was detected for growth analysis. meta-analysis, and you can see that one of the variants with the most significant effects is cis-EQTL that regulates the expression of a gene which is SLIT2. And in the second example, we have a QTL with a lot of number of variants at the top of the peak. So it is difficult to find the best candidate in this region. But when we looked at the overlap with cis and E and SQTL, we found cis EQTL that regulates the expression of MAPK8IP1, and which could be a best candidate variant for this QTL, as it regulates this gene is involved in the glucose metabolism. So to conclude, with almost 55,000 animals from 15 populations of various breeds, the study is the first meta-GWAS of this scale that was dedicated to beef production. We have shown a value of meta-GWAS compared to within population GWAS because we identified a larger number of QTL with meta-analysis, a smaller number of target variants within the QTL, and a more significant enrichment of meat, carcass, and meat production QTL. So large-scale meta-GWAS that were conducted at the sequence level together with post-GWAS analysis significantly improved the identification of genes and causal variants that are associated with beef production traits. So I would like to thank all the partners who were involved in the study, and thank you for your attention. So if you have questions.
Christa Kühn, FLI. Maybe I will start again. Marie-Pierre, thank you for this excellent talk. There's always the question of increasing the cohorts, the number of cohorts, versus could this also have a detrimental effect? Because, for example, for the beef and the dairy populations, they might be, particularly for growth traits, might have very different selection histories. So did you observe in your data that there is something which you see in beef breeds which you don't see in dairy breeds and vice versa? So because this could have an impact then if you merge, you probably dilute signals.
Yes, I think in particular for myostatin, for example, we know that different mutations are involved in the different breeds, and you have seen that in this region in particular, with meta-analysis, the signal was diluted. But in other regions, in contrast, when the mutations are probably shared between the breeds, it improves the signal. Other questions? Yes.
Thank you, Juliaxis Ramallo from IRTA. Thank you for the nice presentation. I'm wondering, in addition to you check the overlapping between the cis-EQTL and the GWAS result, do you plan to also check signals in trans?
Yeah. I choose to not look trans QTL because I thought we can have false positives results with trans QTL. more than with cis-EQTL. So for a first look, I decided to not keep the trans-EQE or SQTL, but it could be interesting to see that. Yeah.
Thank you.